Something interrupted.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, shall we go ahead? We're just waiting for some more people to join in. I think we waited for 7 minutes, so we'll just start. Could we go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. This is Yogita Ravindra Kumar, a celebrity designer and a stylist. Today, I'll be heading the webinar with the topic How do you start your business from home? So, I would like to just bring in a small presentation, and so that it will be more interactive along with while we go ahead with the presentation and stalking. I Somebody's just messaged that yes. If there is anything, I think you can unmute yourself and speak rather than me checking onto the chat box. That would be a little time taking. And there will be an option where you can talk in between as well. Can everybody see the presentation?
No, ma'am, we can't see.
Okay.
Now we can see, ma'am. See.
Now, is it visible?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. So, in between, we will have a small session where you can have questions and we can interact. So, as I go along, I hope you can just unmute yourself so that I'll be more clear and audible. So, we are starting with the session. So, today's topic is how do you start a successful business from home? So, anything that you would like to start will start first from within yourself, which is most important for one person to know and realize what do you actually want to do and why do you want to do this. English is viable. Everybody understands English.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So whatever you're going to start is basically from within. ನೀವು ಏನೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು whatever you're going to start is always ask yourself what is that you want to do. So whatever you dream about can start from the smallest step from within yourself. So what's that first step? We shall just see in today's webinar what all we are going to talk about is a small gist. We'll just see the table of contents that is there. Shashi, can we move on to the next slide? So here we will be discussing about a small introduction about where do we start, how do we start, why should we start, and a self discovery, and what are the ideas that we can see or we within each of ourselves can figure out what are the topics and why should we choose that particular topic or a business that we want to start. And apart from that, what are the basic setups that are at home that we can start with, and how do we start that? The next step is after you start a business or you want to think about starting a business, how do you ideate it? How do you market it? And what is the budget for your marketing? If your budget is zero, how do we go about it? Because whatever business we are going to start from home is basically a small sized, pocket sized business, which we want to make it into a bigger material. Next, after that, we would also learn about how do we become successful and what do you mean by success and so on. Moving on to our next slide. So, here is the first introduction or first thing that we would like to ask anybody who would like to start a business is why do you want to start a business? So, why do you want to start a business? Anything that you guys have in mind? What are the reasons that you would want to start a business?
Financial freedom, ma'am.
Okay. And is it only about financial freedom?
No, there are many things involved in it.
Like,
Yeah.
apart from financial freedom, what else do you see by doing a business? If you're
Yes.
just getting money, is that sufficient?
No,
No. Okay. So let's look into it a little more deeper. So, first thing, why do you want to start a business is the question that you have to ask yourself. If it is just about money, you can also go to a job or you can be an employee elsewhere and also earn money. But why do you want to start a business? Starting a business, think about these steps that I have just given across on your presentation table. That first thing is, are you flexible enough? Do you have the freedom to do the business that you want to do?
okay.
First thing. So does your conditions, does your skill more than enough to start a business? That's the first thing that you have to see. Next thing is, what is the best budgeting or at what cost can you start your business is most important. Especially there are a lot of people who are not completely educated but rather skilled. So you need to identify your each skills that you are best at so that you can start. Not everybody will have financial help that you can start a business. So you if you want to start a business, see how low budgeted can you start off with is
Okay.
the next one. Third thing. So as and when we move on with time, we have something called now in terms of work post pandemic and pre pandemic. Like the work culture has changed so drastically. For example, initially everybody used to go to the grocery shop to buy something or would go to a condiment shop to buy something. But now it is just one click away and it is delivered at your doorstep. So the
Oh,
perspectives of work has changed. So are you able to adapt to that kind of a work culture? Or if you want to start a business, do you keep all of these things also in mind? Is what you also need to think about.
oh, yes.
Next thing is, are you equipped enough? Equipped enough in sense, it's not in terms of your skills or what you know or what is the product or the business that you're going to do, but how are you going to reach places, like in terms of marketing, or it could be your bills, or if you want to make a content. Are you well equipped with these basic skills? For example, do you know how to use a ebook or a bill book online, or to make it easy where you don't need any accountant to handle your accounts? So you have small softwares where you can use such things and make your life easy at low cost. So are you ready to learn that and grow digitally? And especially now, you see most of the people keep scrolling onto the Instagrams and things like that. So that is somewhere you can do your marketing. So are you well equipped to put your contents there? Is something that is like, need to grow digitally. That's what I mean to say. So are you ready to do that apart from your traditional way of marketing and things like that?
Yes.
Next is, like, most of the people in these days, especially post your pandemic, if you see, every house has a passive income, or rather, I would say, have turned their passive income into a complete full fledged income. Example, there were, I would like to take few women's name, like you see on our Bosswala website also, where they started out of passion, for example, candle making, soap, and even fashion, lot of things
Antena.
like that. Pardon?
No, no.
Can you unmute yourself, sir, so that I can, go ahead? It's a little disturbing. So these kind of people who have chosen a business who where they could have they started at home and now they've grown drastically. And I have like a personal experience of my friend who started as a small uh, packaging kind food packaging. Like we used to go for holidays and she used to make home food for us, just put hot water. And today she runs a good big company called Foodio.fit, where she supplies to crores of people. So something like that, which started small at your desk or your table, can be turned over big. So these are the major questions that you have to ask yourself to know, why do you want to start a business. So if you can just note down these things to just ask yourself and make an exercise, probably if not after the session, at least 2, 3 times, if you just go through it, you will be able to find a validating answer for yourself to why you want to start this business. Am I clear? Any questions?
Yes.
Okay. So can we go to the next slide, Shashi?
Okay.
So now how do we pick what do we actually want to do? Something that you want to start from home. So first thing is you have to first discover it all by yourself. Apart from your education that you're most interested is something is about your skill and your passion. If you have any. So what are your skills or what is that you're interested in to make a business? Next thing, if you're going to choose a topic, what are you going to resolve in it? What is the problem that you're going to solve? Or what is that you can give as a service to the person or to your client? Is something that you have to see it. Next, how much time is actually invested or you can give to that business? Example, if you're a working person doing a 9 to 5 job and also want to start a business, this question is definitely for them. For sure, to ask yourself how much can you invest, especially time is something that is non-returnable. So you have to use it very wisely when you commit for it or when you invest for it. So that is another thing that you have to ask yourself and note on the things that you're really good at. It can be anything. So, for example, I would like to take myself. So, actually, I'm a computer science graduate, but somehow I had a lot of passion towards fashion designing. That's an extreme thing from my profession. So, that is something that drew me to grow a brand called She Culture. And what I wanted to do by doing fashion designing is to create high end fashion at a very reasonable and amiable price for people. So people enjoy high fashion. That is what I thought and I wanted to do. And what is the time that I was giving is after my colleging or my schooling or whatever, I would go to the classes, invest, and I would like do a lot of research over that. And I was very good at my sketching. My biology record said like I was pretty good. So that was something which I really wanted to do apart from a 9 to 5 job. So that is why I turned myself into a fashion designer rather than a programmer. And that is where I head today. So these are something that you will have to figure out within yourself. What are your strengths and what are you passionate about? So this is something that you have to ask yourself as well. Anything, any questions here? Can we move on to the next slide? So, what are the top most business ideas that you can find for yourself? Is something very important. How many of you have already figured out what business you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the business that you want to do?
I want to
I like
start
food
a
business to do.
boutique
Okay, can we go one at a time?
for the food
From
business.
you wanted to do a food business, and
Yeah.
somebody else also said something.
Mm.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what do you want to do by doing a food business? What is that you aim to, give your clients? What is the takeaway that they have to take along?
Yes.
We ha- we have to give the
Pardon?
quality product. Yeah, for the homemade quality products for the
Everybody is
masala.
having a quality product. Everybody gives a quality product. What is that you want to give?
For the masala items and the homemade.
Okay. So I think probably you'll just have to think about what is the best USP about your product and why should we choose that product. There are a lot of business ideas across
Okay.
where we can, which is easily available and where you can upskill yourself. For example, there is something like you can learn digital tools, digital skills that are available on this website. You can learn candle making. You have something where you can do soap making, high end fashion, tailoring. You have food business, different kind of farming, lot of things. But definitely, farming cannot just start right away like that. but something from home is very important. So these are some small things where you can even bring thrift stores, or you can bring fabrics from outside, and you can sell it up, and you can do it on your social platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, and all of those e-commerce sites, Instagram, and things like that. So some ideas that you'll have to think about, including where you can also do shipping throughout India or abroad, things like that. What are the ideas that you would like to start from home? So there is some small thing that I wanted to give myself and people around me to help them to be individually, like say financially free, have a freedom. So one of my helps who was at home, she wanted to start some business, saying, "Ma'am, I wanted to start something." So fashion is something that she was very keen and interested, but she couldn't take it full fledgedly forward. So she learned something called sari making or sari tassel making, and she easily earns around, like say, 500 to 600 rupees a day. She's just a small pretty help. They're literally a lower middle class people, and that helps a lot. So something that you can just start, even that small, can also build up and bring up into a big business, including where you can buy dry fruits and make something of a product and give a quality product, also something like that. There are
ఆపేయాలా
n number of them. I think you can
ఆపేయాలి
see
ఎలా
on.
ఇదిగో 4 సార్లు కదా ఒక 4 సార్లు ఉంది ఒకటి ఇంకేదో ఉంది
Hello, Shashi. Could you please help me out with this? There's somebody speaking in between. It's quite disturbing.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I'm unmuting.
Uh, can we go ahead? Can we
Yes,
go
ma'am.
ahead? Okay. Okay. So something which you really give to somebody is having a quality, as well as something which satisfies you is something should be a priority, because just carrying money is not something that you will be very happy about. It's also something that satisfy you when you're doing the job is what I would like to tell. So pick up the top ideas or top 3 things that you can actually do from home and ideate it. Can we go to the next slide? So, when you pick up your ideas, whatever you would like to do and you're passionate about, first validate these ideas. So, how do you validate them? Firstly, when you have to validate, do a lot of research about it. You might be the best person who knows about it, but still ask a number of people who are around you to know what exactly it is all about. And is there any other means or sources that you can also reach to the idea that you're actually doing? First thing. Second thing, check your competitors. Like, say for example, there are a couple of companies who make candles, but why should they choose you, and how are they placed, and how different are you from them, is something that you'll have to see. So check your competitors. You will know what is running in the market, what new things you can bring in, and these are something which are a learning process and an educative process. Business is something that you were learning throughout until you stop doing the business, at least. So throughout, check on your competitors. Next thing, when you start a business, ask yourself and the people around you, is there a real demand for this? Will this really be saleable? Is your idea saleable? Is your product or your service saleable? Ask these questions around you, and also you can use tools like Google Trends. You have social media with Facebook, Instagram. Do pollings, ask people who are around you to give your feedbacks about your product, service, everything. Validate them, ask your nearest and dearest people. Even if it's a no, take it from them, work on them, redo it, and get back. That's something that you'll have to do. Validation of your idea gives a lot of learning to you. You will never know which door opens for you. So that is something which is very, very, very important. Next, as we move ahead, next, what are the basic things that you have to do when you start a business? First thing, set up a small space for yourself at home. It can just be a small table and a chair, but start it from there. Give it yourself a designated workplace at your home. Sit on it, make a schedule of work. How do you plan? What do you do? How are you going to reach out your vendors? How do you going to reach out your clients? How do you make your networking? How are you going to make your people around you are most important. And also, to reach these things, most importantly, if you don't have money and things like that, or low cost budgeting to learn, there are a lot of applications on Google and other places on the internet where you can learn these things. Even to set up, or you have to meet somebody, it need not be in person. You can also meet up on couple of other social media platforms or any other platforms like Zoom, like how we're meeting now, in any other place where you can set up a meeting and talk to that person, where you can give a complete professional outlook for your business. Most importantly, these things designate your, your working space or your scheduling, or learning or making a workspace on a digital platform makes you feel more committed, and also shows how professional you are towards your business. That's the most important thing. So these are something that you must do and is a must. Next, let's see how are you going to go. So the essential steps to get started. First thing, have a plan for your idea. When you ideate something, plan for it. Define or ask yourself, what are you doing? Is it a product based or a service based? So why it should be a product based, why it should be a service based. Have a name for it, have an identity for it, because always when you start with this business, you, for the first or the second time, it will just be your first circle or your second circle who is going to buy from you, with in terms of saying, okay, this is my friend's product. But every time that friend thing doesn't work, so you'll have to have an identity for your product and a name for your product. So that is something very important. Plan yourself about the idea, your product or your service oriented, and give it an identity. Next thing, just check out if there is anything that you have to work on the legal aspects. So, for example, if it's a food based, you'll have FSCCI, you'll have, if you're an import export, you'll have some legal issues with that. You'll have to go through a lot of paperwork. Or if you have any brand that's coming up, so that also, if there's any legal documents required, go finish up with those legal formalities. Also, apart from this, you also have to have a separate financial, differentiation about your banking and things like that. So this is something that is very, very important, so that you keep a track of your income and your expenses is also something that is need to be noted. For that, you have so many, social platforms where you can use it in your best. Next, also make a website, make a social media handle for your business. Also use the best possible ways, especially in the digital ways for your payments, so that you're on dot with your finances, so that you don't have any issues further. So these are something that you must know. First thing, have a plan, have all the detailings, your research, everything done, and how to go about it and why should you go about it. Next, most important thing is get the legal things done accordingly to whatever business that you've chosen. Third most important thing, start marketing it in the best possible way with zero budgeting, and also have your finances right, so that you don't end up losing, or you don't try to figure out where you have lost. So all your finances also should be safe and right. Moving ahead, next most important thing is, you have made a product, but how does everybody know or how do people know that your product is ready is something that is most important. So I cook at home, but how do people know that something is ready at home to eat is only when you tell that you have made something. So most important thing is your marketing. That is where you have to do. You should be very good with your talking skills, where you approach your people, the way you talk to your clients, your vendors. Even if they don't give you a business, you will have to maintain a good cordial relationship with them. That is most important. And how do you do that? How do you do your marketing? Is firstly with zero costing, is your social media for sure, especially with your Instagram, Facebook, your LinkedIn. These are the places somewhere where you can pitch in for your best business marketing. Third, second is once your product is used by anybody or the first or the second circle with your trials, is ask for testimonials, ask how did they feel about your product, how was your service, how did they feel, or is there anything that you have to, uh, rechange, or do something better, or you have to customize accordingly for their preferences. Ask them about it. It is something that will really help, especially in the service industry. It is something that will help. And once you are coordinated enough or cordial enough to give them what they want, definitely referrals will come in. You can easily say that, especially service oriented industry, to please refer somebody if you really liked a product or a service. So that is the second thing. And most importantly, collaborate with people who are surrounded with your product. For example, if you have food industries, you can ask your social media influencer or anybody in and around your person to collaborate, or repost your product or give a best recommendation possible. Something like that will also help building a reach out or a look out for your product and services. These three things, especially, that is marketing on social media, asking for testimonials and referrals, and collaborating with niche people will definitely help you a lot in terms of looking at marketing, how to spread your product. Next, we move ahead. Some common challenges that we will see while we are doing this business. First thing is time management. So these are some things that we'll have to give. Probably today you had some product and you had to do a social media content and you had to post it for marketing, but you weren't able to because you prioritized something else before this. So most important thing is keep deadlines. Give yourself a deadline and say, this is something that I need to reach out and I have to do. Time management is very important. This is just a small example that I've told you, but there are a lot more things that come up in between in terms of time. So it can be like cooking for somebody, or doing some other odd job for yourself, or even going at work and having a second business is something that you're not able to give time. There, all the things you have to have a time management, sort it out, and make a schedule for yourself and prioritize your business and yourself the first, so that it'll help you in at least picking up your business, especially when you're a business owner from home, when you want to start it from home. Second thing is self-doubt. Self-doubt is something that is the worst thing that one can ever see. Why I say that is because if you yourself don't believe in the idea or the plan or the product or the business that you're doing, nobody else will. And even if you believe, if you think that if you can, will I be able to take this forward with a question, always tell yourself that yes, you will be able to do. Just keep focusing on doing your goals, reaching your deadlines. How do you bring the product? Don't have more emotions towards your negative sense. So that is something I would like to say. And next thing is, whatever you do it in a positive, progressive thought, and do it with utmost dedication and perfection. so that you will be able to reach at least to your self satisfaction. That's very, very important. So, self doubt is something that one should never have when you do a business. An employee can have, but an employer or an owner shouldn't have. That is one of the no's for having a quality. Third, isolation. Isolation is something like you can say, if you just sit at home and think people will come to you and know about your business, definitely not. You have to go do a lot of networking, meet people, and even if there are places where you will have to, pay and meet, you have a lot of places like, BNI, BBB, IBG. These are the places where a lot of high end people come and socialize. But there are also places like Call Connect and a lot of women entrepreneur stages where, or even business entrepreneur stages where you can come and meet on day to day basis, or a seminar or a workshop, and do a lot of networking. There are also platforms for virtual networking as well. So figure out all these places. These are something that you will have to do a research based, so that you can get into interaction and you are not idle to sit and figure out like I'm running a business and people will come to me. No, we are supposed to go out, talk about a business, let people know that we are doing business, so that you never know, we may need a vendor, we may need a client, we may need a lot of other things that will help run our business step by step. So this is something that is very, very important. Next, so what is that you get after following these things is success. Success is not only seen in business, success also means failure. Why I say that is, the minute you fail, the next thing is you raise with that. You figure out how do you not do that mistake again, or how do you don't fall into failure again. So for that, what we have to do is, most importantly, when you ideate a business, when you start a business, don't pull in a lot of money and pour it there, but rather start small with a very little amount, try and test, then go ahead. But once you feel that it is going ahead, don't pull in a lot of money again. Go consistently, step by step, in the same frequency, so that you don't reach the top just like that, but you have a consistency so that you are able to maintain your hard work as well as your time and dedication towards that business. Next thing, learning a lot of other courses which are available. So apart from whatever you know to run this business, keep yourself engaged in the upcoming, or every 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, there is always a tech change, or something that newly comes up in a business that you'll have to learn. So use platforms like YouTube or any other social medias where you can upskill yourself. That's something that I would suggest. Next, be ready, be pivoted if needed. So you have to be ready if your business needs you completely and dedicatedly. Give it all to your business without any hesitation or feeling bad towards yourself, saying, "Oh, I wish I could have done something more than this. I could have done." Never leave that sense of doubt that you didn't do it to the best. So always be committed and give it completely towards the end. Next thing, the other thing that I would also say is, get your customers' trust. Gaining your customers' trust is most important. You may not gain a lot of money or a profit, but definitely customers' trust will give you a lot of good uh, growth of business in a very consistent manner, and it will be like a lot of goodwill towards your company and your service, and slowly you will see the rapidness of your client building. That is most important. Even if you don't look at huge profits, keep a good range of profit margin, but definitely give and gain your customers' trust. That's the most important to build your business. The whole business stands on your customers' trust. The minute you lower anything of your service or your quality, or even the way you speak, Even if they don't give you business, just be cordial, have a healthy relationship with your customer. Even if he doesn't give you business, he'll definitely pull in a lot of other clients for you. So that is something very, very important when you're doing a business. So moving ahead, we're almost in the last thing. The most important thing is you have to start whatever you feel like doing after this whole part of exercise that we just saw through in the presentation, and tell yourself, am I ready to do all of these things? And go ahead with the business idea and start in a particular deadline, or tell yourself that you have so much of time that you want to do and you want to achieve that. So are you ready for that? And if yes, it is never say start tomorrow or day after. I will start after a couple of days or after I attain something like this. Start your first step today. Even if it is about researching about your business plan or the passion that you have towards a business that you want to do, anything it can be, start it today. Work it out from the day you want to start it, and you have to start it. That is something I would definitely want to convey to all of you. It is never tomorrow. Start it today. So here I end with my complete presentation and a small gist of how do you start your business from home. If you have any questions, if you have any interactive things that you would like to know, please go ahead and do ask. No questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
If I choose a niche, like if, for example, I am good at punch needling for embroidery, but there are other
One-
accounts also who do the same. How can I be unique? Like,
Okay, you what do
how
you do?
should
You do embroidering, right?
yes,
Okay, so you do embroidering, and how do you want to stand different? So
yes.
did you see what other people do and what you are doing?
For me, it's just basic.
Okay.
I have not been advanced in it. It is
Okay.
just basic for me. But
Okay.
I still want to do something that is different from what others are doing,
So you want to
so
do
that I
something.
can
Mhm.
no say it. What were you saying?
No, I was just asking. So you want to do something different from what others are doing, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So how do you want to be different from them? First thing, you only said that you want to upskill yourself and advance yourself.
yes.
Definitely, yes. That gives you a scope to be different from somebody else. Next, what kind of embroidery do you do?
Hand embroidery, like
Hand
flowers,
embroidery?
like namings, the one with the cloth which is attached to hoop and
Yeah,
then
it's called an
has
ari work. Do you do ari work?
no, not
No.
that.
Is it a? Do you use cotton embroidering?
Yes, yes,
Okay. So what do you do embroidering on? Is it just fabrics? Do you make a
yes. On
product out
fab.
of? Okay.
No,
Have
I
you?
have not still started to make a product, but I am taking an initiative so that I can do it. So I
Definitely.
just
Then you
want,
should go ahead, do it, think where and how you can scale it. That is when you will know,
like on
isn't it?
social media also, there are many other accounts who do better
Yeah, there
than
will
me.
be many other accounts, but you will have to stand yourself in a very different way. So present your product in a different way where people can, people eyes catch on your product.
Okay.
So you have kurta from all the places, right? You have local store, you have West Side, you have Reliance. But why do people choose those particular things for a particular reason? So because they are different in certain things. So that is
Yes.
where you will have to learn about it, engage yourself about it, and venture into it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Any
Hello.
other questions?
Hello, ma'am. Can you please give an example of how my product can look different from others? Can
So
you please
what?
give?
Okay, what is your product basically?
Just, I'm looking for a jewelry item, ma'am.
Your item is a jewelry item?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so have you posted your jewelries on social media?
No, ma'am. I'm looking to post.
Yeah,
Want to
so
start?
you have to start with your basics. Start
Yes, ma'am.
with your basic first thing. I would
Yes, ma'am.
definitely tell, if you slowly start up there, look out for people or small influencers or somebody who can showcase your product, who have a wider range of view, where people
Okay.
can have a look at your product. It's like
Okay.
to collaborate with somebody and say, hey dude, see here, this is how she sees my product, and people try to see. So that is something that can help your product.
Okay.
Or you can also collaborate with any kind of a designer or somebody who's doing a photo shoot or somebody like that, a photographer who can just, collaborate and do a shoot for your jewelry and it can be posted. There are so many things like that that I think you can try.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is the foremost basic thing the business person it has to invest in time or money? What is the basic thing? First place.
Definitely time. You'll
Time.
only decide how much money to invest once you decide how much time you give. Until you don't give a time and thought about how much money you have to invest, you cannot invest your money. So
Okay.
definitely it's time.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other further questions? Shashi, can we wrap up? I think that's the end, looks like.
Yes, ma'am. We can wind up.
Yeah. Thank you
Hello.
so much, everybody. Would like to see
Yes.
you again.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
session, ma'am.
Thank you so much.